Amy, seriously. You took my bag again, didn't you? Just borrowed it a bit. It's too good for you, sis. A brand bag. I saved up to buy that as a reward for myself on my birthday. Lame. Buying yourself a present for your own birthday. Pathetic for a woman with no man, huh? Must be lonely being ugly. I can buy whatever I want for myself. Besides, this isn't the first time you've taken my stuff. Cut it out. The bag looks happier with me than with an ugly sister like you. Give it back now. Stop nagging. You're the older sister, you can spare a bag or two for your little sis. Amy has always been like this, wanting anything I have. Our parents do warn her, but eventually, they settle everything with, "You're the older sister." I am Sandra White, 28 years old. After graduating from university, I got a job at a major corporation. Amy, for years my junior, graduated from university last year and got a job. But she spends her salary right away. She never contributes to the household expenses. Our parents tell her to contribute a bit, but they don't insist, so things just slide by. Yet, I often hear, "It's a bit tight this month. Could you contribute a bit more?" from our mom. Reluctantly, I give her the money, and it turns out she sometimes passes it to Amy. Keep it a secret from Sandra. Thanks, Mom, I love you. I've seen this happen several times. I don't bother saying anything, though it really bothers me. Amy is aware that our parents are lenient with her. She takes advantage of that and is good at playing the sweet daughter. She's also quite attractive, which has always made her popular. I don't think I'm that pretty, but I'm not ugly either. However, I was good at studying and always had good grades. My parents would praise me for getting perfect scores, but my dad would say, "But in the end, a woman's looks matter. A woman who's only smart isn't attractive to men." When I frowned, he'd say, "Making that face makes you look even uglier." He might have meant it as a joke, but it hurt me. They were happy when I passed the National University exam. But then said we couldn't afford it because Amy went to a costly private high school. I had to get a scholarship and pay tuition through part-time jobs. Still, when I got a job at a large corporation, they were thrilled. "I'm so glad. To think you landed a job at such a great company. All your hard work paid off, just as I thought my daughter could do it. I always believed you were capable," they said, and it really made me happy. I thought my parents had finally acknowledged me. But Amy went to an expensive private university and just partied. My parents hardly scolded her and kept paying her tuition, despite telling me we had no money. She's just that kind of girl. If we push her, she'll sulk. Mom would say, but I wonder if it's really okay to leave it at that. Despite my frustrations, I've somewhat resigned myself to this being just how our family is. I have a boyfriend. He works for a foreign trading company that does business with my company. We got close after several business meetings and started dating. Within a year, he proposed. And we've introduced each other to our families and are now engaged. The family meeting for our engagement was the first time Amy met my fiancé, Ryan Thompson. When Ryan first came to our house to introduce himself, Amy didn't even want to meet him, saying, "Why bother meeting my sister's boyfriend? He's bound to be ugly." She didn't want to come to the family meeting either and complained a lot. I thought it wasn't necessary to force her, but our parents managed to bring her along. However, as soon as she saw Ryan, her attitude changed. "No way. He's super handsome. And he works for a foreign trading company? How did you manage to snag someone like that? Hey, that's rude. Well, she's complimenting him. Come on, isn't he too good for you? Maybe I'm more his type, huh? Hey, Ryan, why not dump her and choose me? What nonsense are you spouting? Ryan and I are engaged. Stop saying ridiculous things. Ryan seemed not entirely displeased, which worried me. After the meeting, he commented with a grin. Amy looks nothing like you, Sandra. She's super pretty. Not that I'm saying you're ugly. Just an objective observation. Objective, huh? Yeah. Plus, she's more proactive, or should I say, brighter, easier to talk to. Proactive? What do you mean? I mean sociable. But honestly, if I'm going out with someone, I'd prefer a beauty like her. What are you saying, Ryan? I mean, I never thought Sandra's sister would be such a beauty. She must be popular, huh? Ryan seemed completely smitten as he kept talking about Amy. Since that day, Ryan's behavior changed. He started canceling dates and acted distantly. Something was definitely off. Though it's just my speculation. I couldn't accuse him without evidence. Then Amy suddenly bragged. Sandra, I've decided to take Ryan for myself. What? While I was trying to comprehend what she said, I glanced at our parents, who wouldn't meet my eyes. Amy saw that, grinned, and continued. We get along so well. Plus, he's handsome and an elite. It's obvious he's a better match for me than an ugly sister like you. What are you talking about? Ryan is my fiancé. I'm just giving you a heads up. But it can't be helped, can it? If you compare me to you, I'm obviously the better choice. Amy said without a hint of shame, laughing foolishly. I couldn't understand what was funny, nor why our parents remained silent. So, Ryan and I are getting married. Are you kidding me? Don't joke around. But it can't be helped. Ryan and I love each other. And I've already talked to Mom and Dad about it. You're lying. Looking back at my parents, they averted their gaze with a guilty smile. No, that's not possible. A sister stealing her sister's fiancé isn't just some petty theft. This isn't something that should be forgiven. Shouldn't parents be angrier about this? Why are they acting so normal? A flood of emotions overwhelmed me, leaving me speechless with anger and sadness mingling within. Why? Why aren't you angry? Even now, are you still saying because she's your sister? Because you're the older sister? I couldn't help but glare at my parents. Hey, don't make that face. It can't be helped, things have turned out this way. Well, yes. I was surprised, of course. But Ryan said he prefers Amy. It's all about the feelings between the people involved. Exactly. Your unhappiness is because you have a sister like me, a beauty. Just give up on life already. Well, yes. I was shocked too, honestly. But Ryan said he prefers Amy. It's all about the feelings between the people involved. Exactly. Your unhappiness, sister, is because you have a beautiful sister like me. Might as well give up on life now. With that, Amy burst into laughter. See, Sandra, you're the older sister. My mother's usual phrase made something snap inside me. I've reached my limit, I can't endure this anymore, these people aren't my family. Understood. Fine. I'm leaving. What? If Amy's here, that's enough for you, right? But, that's troubling. If you leave, we'll have less money for living expenses. We also need money for Amy's wedding. Even if you leave, you'll still send us money, right? Well, you'll do at least that much, right? It's for your dear sister's wedding. Are my parents really saying they want me to pay for the wedding? Of the sister who stole my fiancé? Despite always being asked for more money on top of living expenses since I started working, do they still need more? To these parents, am I just a source of money? Were they happy about my job because they were eyeing my salary? Thinking this, I felt utterly hopeless. Unable to speak anymore, I silently left the room and entered my own. As soon as I stepped inside, I felt so miserable that tears overflowed. I packed my bags while crying. I didn't want to spend another second in this place. I had no place to go, but even sleeping on the streets seemed better than staying here. As I left the room with my suitcase, my parents looked a bit shocked. Are you really going to leave? Let her. If she wants to leave, let her. An ugly sister like her isn't needed at the wedding anyway. But still. Don't worry. Ryan's an elite, he earns well. We don't have to worry about money. Is that so? Well, if you say so. I thought, well, if you say so. What is that supposed to mean? I almost shouted in anger, but it felt like a waste of energy to even get angry. Without any response, I quietly left the house. I stayed in a business hotel for a while. Neither my family nor Ryan contacted me. In the end, that was the extent of my significance to them. Just as I was thinking about finding a place to live, I was offered a transfer to an overseas branch. I accepted the offer without hesitation, thinking it would be a fresh start. Since Ryan's company had dealings with the overseas branch, he must have known about my transfer. Perhaps he was relieved or felt refreshed. After 6 years abroad, I had no contact with my family, and they became a distant existence to me. In the 4th year of my assignment, I married a man I met there. My husband is very sincere and gentle. I didn't inform my family, nor did I feel the need to. At 34, I returned to the U.S. with my husband but felt no desire to see my parents or sister. It reaffirmed that they were practically strangers to me. A month after returning, my husband and I went shopping, doubling as a date. It had been a while since my husband was in the U.S., so we enjoyed visiting San Francisco. After a day out, we headed to a restaurant cafe run by a friend for dinner. Walking from the subway station, someone unexpectedly tapped my shoulder. When I turned around, there was Amy. I knew it was you. I thought you might look a bit more like an old lady. Amy. Next to her stood Ryan, now her husband, my former fiancé. Seeing his face instantly dampened my spirits. It's true what they say about how unpleasant it can be just to see someone's face. Who is this? Ah, technically, my sister. I had told my husband about my previous engagement and how my sister took him away. Naturally, he didn't have a good impression of them. What? Is this your sister's boyfriend? He's my husband. Really? I didn't know you got married. Weren't you overseas? I came back last month. While saying this, Amy looked my husband up and down as if sizing him up, and smirked. She was still as unpleasant as ever. I could guess what she wanted to say. After all, my husband is quite indifferent to fashion. Of course, he dresses sharply for work, but as soon as he gets home, he switches to sweatpants. Today, he was dressed in a t-shirt and jeans bought from a chain store, fitting for a casual dinner at a friend's place. I too was dressed comfortably in casual clothes. But this relaxed style suits us, and that's what I appreciate about my husband. Smirking, Amy said, in the end, you married a poor man, congratulations. But at least you got married. With that face, I thought you'd stay single forever. But I guess there are odd tastes out there. What is she talking about? Poor man, is she referring to me? Seems so, I replied, while Ryan, standing next to Amy, began to fidget, probably recognizing my husband. It's kind of funny, you're really suited to each other. A bit poor looking though. Hey, stop it. What? You're being considerate because he's your ex-fiancé? That's unnecessary. If he left you, it's because you're ugly, sis. Stop it, will you? What? Don't tell me you're regretting it now that your sister got married. Shut up, idiot. Ryan yelled and covered Amy's mouth. Amy struggled as if questioning what he was doing. Sorry, she's a bit crazy. And you are? Her husband. That means Sandra's ex-fiancé? But I feel like I've seen you somewhere before. It's your imagination. Well, I must be going now, Ryan said as he tried to drag Amy away, but she broke free from his grip and yelled. He probably thought Amy would join him in laughing at me. But he was frustrated that things didn't go as expected. Come on, what are you doing? Ryan said he felt refreshed breaking up with an ugly sister like you. And then marrying such a shabby poor-looking man. You must have gone desperate after I took Ryan from you. This is where you're supposed to laugh. I told you to stop. This man is Junior. What? My husband's company is the largest client of the company Ryan works for. And my husband is the son of the CEO of that company. He's often called Junior, a nickname he dislikes. Besides, it's not decided yet whether he will take over his father's company. My husband is 37 years old now, and there are trustworthy seniors in the company who have been there longer than him. He still has a lot to learn, and his father, the CEO, has said he doesn't put weight on hereditary succession. But my husband greatly respects his father and hopes to be acknowledged by him someday. Whether my husband becomes the CEO or takes a different job, it doesn't matter to me. The man I love is him as an individual, not his job or title. Junior, what? That means he's the son of the CEO of our company's client. No way. Is that bigger than Ryan's company? It's not even close. I knew it. I saw you at the company before. Nice to meet you, Junior. I look forward to working with you. I refuse. What? I've heard about what you guys did from my wife. I don't wish to associate with such people, not even in business. But that has nothing to do with work. It's a private matter, Sweat. Private or not, people who hurt others without remorse or betray trust can't be trusted in business either. My husband retorted, leaving Ryan pale. Meanwhile, Amy was eyeing my husband like a snake sizing up its prey. I guessed she was up to no good again. If I know Amy, she was probably about to act sweet to win him over. Her attitude changed dramatically from before. Wow. I knew there was something special about you. Let's get along well, brother-in-law. Amy tried to touch my husband's arm with a disgustingly sweet voice. But he moved away before she could touch him. Don't touch me. I really dislike women like you. What? How can you say that? I'm way prettier than my sister. Everyone prefers a beautiful woman. You think you're beautiful? My wife looks much more beautiful to me. Ugliness of the heart shows on the face. Compared to you, a chimpanzee is much cuter. What did you say? I thought, chimpanzee. Seeing Amy's astonished face, I almost burst out laughing, but at the same time, I was moved by my husband's words. I knew he meant what he said. He had told me before how tired he was of women who flocked to him just because he was the son of a big company's CEO. Amy's behavior was exactly like those women. I met my husband outside of work, while I was stationed at an overseas branch. On my days off, I often ventured alone to cafes. And it turned out that my favorite cafe was also frequented by my future husband. He always looked so shabby that I thought he must be a jobless person. Or maybe an unsuccessful artist. As we kept bumping into each other. And since we were both American, we started talking. Neither of us disclosed our occupations. And we merely introduced ourselves by our first names. But soon, I started looking forward to meeting him at the cafe, actually. I began going there hoping to see him. There was a genuine kindness in his straightforward, pure eyes. One day, I said to him, "Hey, if you have any paintings, I'd like to buy one." "Oh, but nothing too expensive. Or are you a street musician? If so, I could promote you." My husband was taken aback by my words and burst into laughter after a moment's pause. "I've never met anyone as interesting as you." He wasn't an artist, he confessed, but still didn't mention his profession. Thinking he was indeed out of work, I earnestly offered to help him find a job. He laughed even harder, but we really hit it off. It wasn't long before I encountered him at my company's client office. That's when I first learned that he was the son of a major company's CEO. I was so embarrassed, I felt like I could literally burst into flames. But that day, he proposed to me. I wasn't even officially his girlfriend yet, but I found myself nodding in agreement. How am I worse than a chimpanzee? How rude. Amy must have been furious, her face turning bright red. "Wait, were you just making eyes at Junior?" "It doesn't matter. I'm leaving now." The two of them shouted at each other, not caring who saw. My husband and I looked at each other and laughed. I felt incredibly refreshed thanks to him. Ryan later had a chance to work with my husband, but upon seeing his face, he became flustered and messed up, leading to his demotion. I thought that would be the last we'd hear from them. But a month later, Amy contacted me. "Sis, I need a favor." "A favor?" "I need money." "Well, actually, give me money." "What?" "Ryan's been demoted to a subsidiary, and his salary has plummeted. He's not elite anymore. We have so many payments to make and not enough money." "Why should I give you money, Amy?" "Because you're my sister." "Isn't your husband heir to a huge company?" "You have loads of money, right, so it's fine." "I might have loads of money, but I'm not giving you a single penny." "Why not?" "Your sister is in trouble. You should help, that's what sisters do." "I don't think so at all. I've long stopped thinking of you as my sister. You're less than a stranger to me. Don't ever contact me again." "Don't say that. You're the only one I can rely on." "I don't want to be relied on by you, Amy. We have nothing to do with each other. Goodbye." After blocking my sister's number, I immediately received a call from my parents. It seemed they heard about my husband from Amy. They were being squeezed for money by Amy and her husband, and were now in debt themselves. They were obviously looking for a handout. Just like I thought. "I knew you'd snag a wealthy husband. Now our retirement is secure. Of course, you'll help us out, won't you?" I was speechless at their audacity. They both kept saying things, but I hung up and promptly blocked them as well. This time for good. I now have a loving husband and in-laws who warmly support us. Since returning to the US, we've been living together with my in-laws. I finally feel like I have a real family. My husband and I cherish our in-laws and look forward to building a warm, loving home together.